Hey, welcome back to this mini lecture. My name is Dino. This one is on Introduction to Information Architecture. So, what is the focus of this video? It's going to be introducing information architecture, IA, its concepts as well as various components to help you achieve that. So, your first question is, could I get a definition of information architecture? In short, what is information architecture? According to Babbage, information architecture, IA, is the art and science of organizing complex information clearly and logically so that users would easily find everything they need quickly and without much effort. From this, you can see that one of the driving parts to this is we have so much complex information in our society. I have other videos talking about our information overload today. And for people to get through it, it needs to be clear, it needs to be logical so that people can do that. So they can get through it quickly without too much effort, but also, derive whatever the most key elements of it. From this, what is the goal of information architecture? According to Orango, the goal of information architecture is that information architecture creates clarity so people can lead better lives by choosing better. So this is a really broad, big one because I think oftentimes we think about information architecture in terms of just like an informational space, computer science space, design space. But ultimately, because so many people consume so many different types of information, I really like this definition by Orango because it foregrounds the idea of clarity. We want to be clear in anything we do. And if we do that, it helps people lead better lives by choosing better. And obviously, in a professional setting, say if you're more business oriented, obviously it's really important that people are clear because if you're getting better information more easily, you're saving time. Your professional life will be better, and you make better choices based on the information that you've got from that. So how do you strive for and get this clarity? I'm going to go over 4 main components of information architecture that are like things that you need to consider and get and things that you need to achieve. Component 1, it's always good to start with the first one, I guess, is organization schemes and structures. Specifically, how do you categorize and structure information? By categorizing information, you put it all into these various buckets that are somewhat distinguishable based on that category versus others. And also the way you structure information is really important. So again, people can sort of move their way through it. Think of the idea of like a visual hierarchy where the most important, biggest pieces of information are large on top and then smaller ones cascade downward. In English, we read left to right, so obviously, and up to down, so it's good to organize and structure information following those conventions. Following component 1, as you guessed it, friends, is component number 2. That is labeling systems. How do you represent information? So going back to the last slide, you have these categories. Categories are good and bad. You need to have information organized into these categories to make someone understandable. But categories in themselves are important, but you also need to represent those categories. And what better way to do that than through a proper and useful labeling system that represents information in a useful way. You guessed it, friends, component 3, navigation systems. That is how users browse or move through information. Obviously, these days, so many people are online, and oftentimes you're looking through a text, say, browsing through a magazine or a newspaper, like an old school newspaper. People don't just read it, top to bottom, left to right necessarily. People often browse through it to try to find what tickles their fancy. And having a navigation system that allows people to do that easily, quickly, and effectively and get through massive amounts of information is really useful. Think of tabs on a browser. Think of indexes at the back of a book where you can find out or a table of contents where you can find out what the contents are. Finally, I know you've been waiting for it, component number 4, search systems, how users look for information. Again, given the massive information, you might be really like, there's a big mass of information, you need to find it quickly. How can you do that? Again, I talked about it last slide, or last part of the video. Having a table of contents, having an index can help users look through like again a traditional book, or you have a search bar on a website. They help you look through information really quickly. So having search system in any way can help you. So those were 4 components. That was a brief introduction to information architecture. My name is Dino. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to like this video if you liked it. Please feel free to comment on this video. What do you think about the information architecture definitions? Do you agree with them? Do you disagree? If so, why? What do you think about those components? How do we ensure that we have information architecture that abides by all those 4 major components? How do we ensure that people that we structure information, organize it in ways that helps people live, as Arango says, better lives, whether it's professionally or personally?